Hi, I'm Carolyn Weaver from Body and Soul Companion, and you are on week 16, day 3, Jesus' growing up years. And we looked at the circumcision and the presentation at the temple. We looked at the visit of the Magi, which I think I mistakenly said in the video it was week 15. I have this memory that I said that, so I corrected it as far as the written written title and the description. It's week 16, day 2. And just parenthetically, Ignatius put the visit of the wise man before the circumcision and presentation in the temple, but it's really pretty understood among scholars that the circumcision and the presentation at the temple happened before the visit of the wise men, because they didn't come to the infant Jesus, they came to the child Jesus. They went into the home of Mary and Joseph. So today we are looking at the flight into Egypt and return. So one thing I did forget to do is we looked at that circumcision and presentation in the temple, and I remember, if you'll remember, I really emphasized this a few weeks ago in weeks 12 and 13 of the Jesse tree. So this is Anna and Simeon on the Jesse tree. I think they're day 23. See, I have this fun little thing. I could send it to you. It's a fun little devotional. It's also on my blog, so I'll put it on my blog. But day 23, yes, was Anna and Simeon. So you can, the man and the woman, you put them on your Jesse tree. And I'll put a link to the Jesse tree again. And then I had talked about Mary. And then on Christmas Day, I forgot, there's the baby Jesus that goes on day 25. And then at the very top of the Jesse tree, you put this. So I had forgotten putting all of those. But this isn't about the Jesse tree. I just thought, especially when we were going through the prophecy about Jesus in weeks 12 and 13, I thought it would be really fun to just show you what you can do with children. You can grow yourself. A lot of people don't realize how many prophecies there were. And even if you look at Handel's Messiah, I think 67% of Handel's Messiah is the Old Testament. It's not the New Testament, it's the Old, because, the story of Jesus started Genesis 3:15, and it goes Genesis to Jesus. It's this what I call the scarlet thread of redemption. So today we are doing the flight into Egypt and return. So I invite you to close your eyes and breathe slowly. And center your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul on the presence of God. Presenting yourself to Him. Presenting Him all your things that are occupying your mind. Present those to the Lord. Let go and let Him handle them. Just with each exhale, just relax into God's presence with your body. Relaxing your feet, your legs, your bottom in your chair, your back comfortably supported. Feel the expansion of the air in your ribs, going up the front of your body and relaxing your abdomen. Your chest, the front of your shoulders, the back of your shoulders, your arms, your neck, and even your face. Let go and relax and know that I am God. I will be exalted in the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. And as we have physically and mentally settled down, invite God's loving gaze upon you and receive it into your heart. You might even want to put your hand over your heart, hands over your heart. Just receive His love. Matthew 2:13 through 23. Now when Mary and Joseph when the wise men had gone, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to destroy him." So Joseph got up and took the child and his mother while it was still night and left for Egypt. He remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what was prophesied "Out of Egypt I called my son." Then when Herod saw that he had been tricked by the Magi, he became very enraged, and sent and slew all the male children who were in Bethlehem and all its vicinity from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had determined from the Magi. Then what had been spoken through Jeremiah the prophet was fulfilled. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and she refused to be comforted, because they were no more. But when Herod died, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and go into the land of Israel, for those who sought the child's life are dead." So Joseph got up, took the child and his mother, and came into the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus was reigning over Judea in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there. Then, after being warned by God in a dream, he left for the regions of Galilee and came and lived in a city called Nazareth. This was to fulfill what was spoken through the prophets: "He shall be called a Nazarene." Lord, we pray just that you would prepare our hearts as we contemplate this scene. Jesus, we want to see you more clearly, love you more dearly, and follow you more nearly. So imagine who you are in this scene. You're going to journey with Jesus as he and his family flee their home to find refuge in Egypt. Jesus, let us travel with you as a refugee in a foreign land. Let your Spirit breathe in us, enlivening our imagination so that we can grow closer to you. So who are you in the scene? Some options might be Mary, Joseph, a fellow traveler, to be in the total thing, Mary, Joseph, or someone traveling with them. So to set the scene, the wise men had just gone. They bowed down and worshiped Jesus, bringing gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And you see them leave. And immediately, an angel of the Lord appears to Joseph in a dream and says, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to destroy him." So Joseph had another dream. Lots of dreams. So you see Joseph get up, see Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus getting ready for the journey that would have been about 2 weeks. So see them getting ready. Maybe you recall that prophecy. Out of Egypt I called my son. Ponder that in your heart. Maybe you're Mary or Joseph, pondering. You know the scriptures. Ponder that. So see them. You're with them, packing your bags. And that prophecy was in Hosea, by the way. So you pack your bags and you go out of your home, passing through cities and towns along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. Are you on foot or are you on animals? Look out at the Mediterranean Sea. See yourself stopping on that 2-week journey by a fire, cooking your food, or maybe staying with Jews along the way, whatever you want. Imagine that. And then in the meantime, you hear throughout Israel that Herod is really mad because he's been tricked by the Magi. And he sends out his henchmen to slay all the male children who were in Bethlehem and its vicinity, all 2 years and under, because he knows that there was this baby born in Bethlehem So he goes throughout Bethlehem slaying every child, hoping that he can slay this king. How do you feel hearing that news? Then you recall the prophecy from Jeremiah, and I'll paraphrase. I hear the screams of anguish, weeping and wailing in Ramah. Rachel is weeping uncontrollably for her children. And just Rachel became a metaphor for all of Israel. And she refuses to be comforted because they are dead and gone. I'll read that again. It's hard to hear, but you're recalling that as you hear about all the children being slain. And if you can imagine that in your mind's eye, going house to house, what do you hear? The cries of the children, the cries of the mothers and fathers. I hear the screams of anguish, weeping and wailing in Ramah. Rachel is weeping uncontrollably. Israel is weeping uncontrollably for her children. And she refuses to be comforted because they are dead and gone. So you're traveling and you hear that. What were Mary and Joseph's reaction to that? And look throughout Israel. Feel the emotions that they might have felt. See the anguish on their face. Even see the blood. The burying of the children. Experience the gravity of that situation. And then continue into Egypt. See Mary and Joseph enter Egypt, a province of the Roman Empire, and one of the richest provinces outside of Italy. It was one of the richest. See the fertile soils of the Nile Delta, the grain. See the large cities bustling with trade. Alexandria, Memphis. We don't know where they settled, but Alexandria was about 1 million people. And then throughout the rural areas, there were peasant farmers. But we don't know where the family settled. But they were poor, and as foreigners, they would have depended on other Jews. And there were large populations of Jews living throughout Egypt. So imagine Mary and Joseph settling there. What would their life would have been like? Look at Jesus. He would have been under 2 years old. And imagine Jesus in Egypt. So then Herod dies. So they would have been there no longer than a few years, but we don't know how long. But Herod dies. And they return back. Because let's center in on Joseph. He has another dream in Egypt. So imagine him laying there in the bed, and he has a dream, and he hears, "Go back to the land of Israel and take the child and his mother with you, for those who sought to kill the child are dead." So see Joseph wake up, take Jesus and Mary, and then the long sojourn back. Going again along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea, first going by the banks of the Nile Delta, Nile River, and then up the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. See all the people they would pass on the way. And then hear someone tell Joseph when he arrives in the land of Israel that Archelaus, Herod's son, was now the ruler of the territory of Judah. And Joseph is afraid. Feel his fear. And then look at Jesus toddling along. It's probably 5 or under. We don't know exactly how old he was, but just imagine he's a preschooler toddling along with Mary and Joseph. What do you notice about Jesus at that age? And you know that Joseph is afraid. Look up at his face in his fear, and then see him settle down again and get another dream from God, warning him to avoid that region and instructing him to go to the province of Galilee. So see them walk to Galilee with their preschooler. See the Sea of Galilee. And see them settling in the small village of Nazareth. And you might recall from last week, it was about 50, maybe 50 homes. And this would fulfill the prophecy that he would be known. He would be called a Nazarene. And knowing that the Hebrew scripture gives us a wonderful truth about the word Nazarene, which means the branch, sprout of the Lord that would come and establish righteousness. The word for branch or sprout, it's netzer, the root word for Nazareth and Nazarene. So, to ponder for you in your conversation with God, and reflecting on the journey that you've just taken. Joseph. Remember Joseph in the Old Testament? He was a dreamer. He was called a dreamer. And this same Joseph had a lot of dreams and protected his family because he listened and obeyed God. How does 4 dreams? Through 4 dreams, think about it. Ponder that. And then think about dreams that maybe God's given you. Do you pay attention to your dreams? Try it if you haven't. Start paying attention to your dreams. Just when you wake up, ask God, what are you trying to teach me through that dream? And write it down. Give a title for your dream. And write down what God says to you about what He's trying to impress upon you. And then just continue to think about Jesus as a toddler and how Mary and Joseph cared for them. And then try to recall in your own life. In my manual at this point, I talk about if memories come up for you, explore those. Those are from God. So this is a question. Have you ever experienced a sudden disruption or displacement in your life? Where did you find refuge and where was God? Did you have to move suddenly once? Oh gosh, I just had a memory. See, God's going to give you memory of where maybe you've had displacement or disruption, and talk to God about that. And I'll give you a quick example of the memory that just came up. Was we were in Malaysia. We thought we'd be there our whole lives. Had pretty much sold all our stuff, uprooted um, our whole family, moved to Malaysia. We thought we'd be there for. I just told my best friend who came to visit, who asked me, how long do you think you're going to live here? And I remember we had gone on a little beach trip, and I said, laying on the beach, I said I could live here our whole lives. And I came home to find out that my husband had lost his job. The job that they had the money for long-term employment in Malaysia. And then an economic crisis came, and it didn't look good that the Malaysian government was paying an American. So they had to let him go. And so suddenly we had to leave because we couldn't get a visa, continue to get a visa. We could have been there dishonestly, but we chose not to be there dishonestly. So I'm going to explore that in my colloquy time, my conversation with God. So hopefully, again, those questions, I'll give them to you again just because they're good. What kind of dreams? Joseph was a dreamer. He had 4 dreams. How does God speak to you? Does He speak to you in dreams? And start recording your dreams. How do you interact with Jesus as a toddler? And looking at Mary and Joseph and how they interact. And then, have you ever experienced a sudden disruption or displacement in your life? Where did you find refuge? Where was God? So may you be blessed. Bye.